Had a wonderful couple of weeks on board a beautiful ship out in the middle of the ocean, Australia and New Zealand, and the conversation of that workshop gathering very quickly came around to the subject of deconstructing of thought. Now we think that's interesting because the only reason that so much deconstruction was necessary is because there's so much bogus construction that had already taken place. In other words, you don't have to deconstruct something. You don't have to haul stuff away from the job site if you haven't hauled it there to begin with. But most of you, this is not your first day on the planet. And it's not your first day of conversation or thinking. And it certainly is not your first day of attraction. Tomorrow, however, is going to be pretty much like today, because you have patterns of thought that, even though we are going to brilliantly explain all of this here to you today, and in most cases you're going to brilliantly understand it because we're going to weave a web of understanding here. There's going to be a vibrational connection where you are going to get what we say. You already are. But you're not going to change your thought patterns instantaneously. You didn't develop your pattern of thought immediately, and you're not going to change your pattern of thought immediately. And there are many things that you think that you don't want to change anyway. But what we want to draw your attention to, especially as we are beginning here this morning, we want to remind you that you are the creator of your experience, and you do so through the patterns of your thought, by the things that you give your attention to. And when you catch yourself in conversation about things that you clearly know you do not mean to be bringing to the job site, that's a time for you to stop and laugh and say, what am I doing here? I'm setting myself up for the necessity of a bunch of deconstruction of thought, all of which is going to take a lot of time. Why construct something that later I'm only going to want to deconstruct? Why not start today building it the way I want to build it? And what we want you to understand is that you have within you immediate guidance. You have access to it right now that will feed back to you in the form of emotion what things you're bringing to the job site that you want to keep and what things that you aren't, so that you could stop it in the moment if you're sensitive to the way that you feel. And it won't take very many days of deliberately thinking thoughts in the direction of what you're wanting before you begin to tune yourself to a new vibrational frequency. But here's the thing that makes that tricky for you. You mean well, you're trying hard, but this is what makes that a difficult thing. Your awareness of what surrounds you in all of its manifested beauty and magnificence and diversity, your attention to all of those things activates them. There are two ways that you can look at creating. You can realize that there's a lot to choose from, and there are so many who are vying for your attention to choose. When you turn on the television, if you do, because it comes at you so heavily and so fast and with such intensity, all of these things you activate and bring to your job site whether you mean to or not. So the point that we're making, not just with television, not with any particular facet of your life experience, but there are two ways of looking at it. You can approach it from there's already a lot of stuff manifested, and I think I will look around at the manifested stuff, the manifested lives, the different relationships, the different methods of parenting, the different kinds of relationships, the different kinds of interpersonal relationships. Should you marry the people that you live with? Should you not marry the people that you live with? Should you spend a lot of time with a lot of different people? Should you spend time just with one person? Should you work if you are a mother? Should you stay at home if you are a mother? In other words, there are so many opinions. Should you join the services? Should you fight for your country? Should you fight for another country? Should you let people come across the border and work with you? So here's the point that we're making. As you look at all of this information that you believe you should consider and sort through and form opinions about, That's one way of going about it. Just lay it all out there, sort it all out, separate it into piles, get spokesmen to represent the piles, and then as a people of this planet, make your conclusions about the rightness and wrongness of life by sorting out all of those details. And we say, if we were standing in your physical shoes, our mantra would be, kill me now. Because there's too much to sort, and most of it has very little to do with who you are or where you are or what you want, but it is causing you to bring a lot of unnecessary materials to your job site. It's causing you to think about so many things and in the process activate so much vibration that without you even knowing it is precluding you, is separating you from, is preventing you from being the vibrational match to the things that you already know that you want. So that's one way of going about life. Look at everything that's out there, sort it all out in terms of what's right or wrong from your point of view, gather together in groups and really debate the issues, especially politically, please, especially politically. Debate those issues and see if you can figure out anything that any of them are saying. And see if you can figure out if any of them mean what they are saying or even believe what they are saying. In other words, it isn't just that there are materials that you could choose from. There are opinions on opinions on opinions on opinions on opinions, and how you ever sort all of that out. So there's that way of going about it. Or, through all that you've been living, you have been putting your rockets of desire into your vortex, and your inner being stands as the culmination of everything that you have synthesized from this life experience and before that you are and that you want. In other words, you can think your way into the creation of your life, or you can tune yourself vibrationally and let the powerful laws of the universe bring to you the precise ingredients that you have selected through a lot of experience over a lot of time to your job site. Can you feel the difference? In other words, when you allow yourself to release the resistance that is rampant in your vibration, you release your connectivity to so much of the glut of unnecessary, irrelevant, and unwanted materials coming to your job site. You don't have to work as hard as you've been working. Life should not be as difficult as the majority of humans upon the planet are making it. And we're here to tell you that the reason you are making it difficult is because you're going about it in a backwards way. You're saying, let's take everything that exists and let's consider it and form an opinion on it. And you get bogged down right in the middle of that. Jerry and Esther have teased one another incessantly over the years at what it's like on the day that they decide they're going to sort something. Let's sort out this room where we have been depositing things that we haven't wanted to deal with for a very long time. Esther made a little note and put it on the door that said, don't go in here. This room can hurt you. Because there's some of everything in that room. So it's been a funny thing to watch them make an effort to sort that room, because they go in with the intention of eliminating this from the room. We're going to throw it away, we're going to file it, or we're going to keep it. And we're going to do that in a very short order of time. And before they know it, they're bogged down reading the box of letters. And now it's been 12 hours and nothing has moved in the room. They're just bogged down in the glut of it's too overwhelming. It's too much to do. We've encouraged them to just nail the door shut and never go in that room again. Open another room and put more stuff in it like it. And when it's full, nail that one shut. Don't go back and try to sort it all out. And it's the same sort of thing that we're saying to you relative to all of these things that you're trying to think about. Rather than trying to sort them all out, wouldn't it be so much more beneficial? Wouldn't it be prudent? Wouldn't it be efficient to find a vibrational tone in your body that represents a vibrational point of attraction that will bring to you all and only things that are a vibrational match to that? Don't you want a concierge in the sky? Don't you want a point of attraction? Don't you want a sifting and sorting mechanism? Don't you want to live blissfully in your life? Don't you want to live in the most efficient way that you can? Don't you want the power, the energy that creates worlds to work on your behalf? We know you do, because you've tasted it here and there every now and again. So what are your emotions anyway? Your emotions are your indicator of the relationship between the frequencies in you. So you were source energy before you came into this body. That's a frequency. You are a point of consciousness here in this physical body. That's a frequency. There is a larger part of you still non-physically focused. That's a frequency. And those frequencies are playing off of one another, and that's what emotions are. So when you feel elation, you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on. That means the thought that you're thinking right now is in total agreement with the thought the source within you thinks, you see. Well, we can't say it to you any more clearly than that. Now, let's play together if you want to. We are eager to chew with you about anything that is important to you. And our value here to you is to help you to feel in a more obvious way your vortex connection. In other words, our value to you is to bridge you from where you are vibrationally to who you really are. And so it is our expectation that you will feel relief as you move that way. Whether you come to the hot seat or not, whether you are listening in, whether you are watching in, whether you're sitting in the chair with your eyes closed, or whether you are fully participating, whether you visit with us verbally or not, we are aware not only of who you are, but of all that you are in your vortex. And we can feel the power of that which you're reaching for. In other words, you have highlighted solutions all over the planet. There is a powerful calling of solution and answer. But the most important thing to understand is, friends, we know the answers. We have the solutions. But to you, you got to say, big hairy deal. Because if you're not in the vibrational vicinity, it doesn't matter how clearly we speak it, how clearly we spell it out. If you're not in the vibrational vicinity of the solutions that we are highlighting, you can't hear it. So this conversation that we have just had was all from our understanding that as we remind you who you really are in these very general terms, that you will release resistance and rise to the frequency of that which you are. And that's what's taken place already. You are in closer vicinity to your vortex than you usually are. You are in closer vicinity to the solutions than you seek than you've been in a very long time. So we're going to have a great deal of fun here together. And what you are going to notice is all kinds of ahas are going to begin to occur to you. You're going to feel smarter than you have felt in a very long time, because you are vibrationally up to speed with the solutions that you have been looking for. You are following? So just be playful about it. There's nothing serious going on here at all. All that's happening here is that we are together in the process of assisting one another. We are helping you to come into alignment with who you are and what's in your vortex. And will the manifestation come? Yes, indeed it will. But we're trying to distract you from manifestational scrutiny. Because when you need to see it right here, right now, and you don't, now you're focused upon the absence of it. And when you focus upon the absence of it, it's an entirely different frequency than the presence of it. So now you're not a cooperative component. So if just for a little while, we could get you to be looking for the emotional manifestation. And that's a valid word, emotional manifestation. Because when you feel an emotion, it happened. It's real. It got you in your gut, didn't it? When you feel emotion, isn't it a reality? It's an indication of vibration. So as you feel an emotion, understand that that emotion is an in-the-moment reality that you can take to the bank, to the vortex. It is delicious to come together with those like you who are coming more and more every day to know who you are. We've enjoyed this especially today because You came into the vortex.